Hello, I'm Basim, I'm the lead developer at FillQuick, and I'm making this video to show you how to create signable eDocuments from FillQuick. eDocuments can be used for any kind of documents that you want your customer to review and sign. For example, they can be used for the alarm monitoring contract, or they can be used for simpler documents like a credit check authorization form or a payment authorization form. So in this video, I'll show you how to create eDocument templates, and then I'll show you how to create eDocuments based on this template for a particular lead or customer or service on your FillQuick site. So let's start by creating the template. I'll go to eDocument templates from the main menu, and then I'll click on new template. And my first template, I'll call it credit check authorization. And this template can be used on leads because we typically run credit checks on leads. And it can also be used on customers because maybe we will want to run the credit check after converting the lead to a customer. And it cannot be used on services because we'll never need to use such an eDocument on a service. The participant roles, who will need to fill and sign this eDocument? The company rep does not need to fill or sign anything because all the data will be filled automatically by FillQuick. The primary signer does need to sign this eDocument, so I will select the primary signer as a participant. And let's say in our case we will only run the credit check on the primary signer, so there is no reason for the secondary signer to participate in the signing at all. So I will leave it unchecked. The language, this is the user interface language that the user sees while filling and signing the document. The default language is English, but you can also select French or Spanish. Test modes. Well, test modes are for creating test eDocuments based on this template. And test eDocuments are completely free. There is no charge to creating test eDocuments. But production eDocuments, you'll be charged per production eDocument that you create on FillQuick. So typically we'll want to start with the test mode enabled so you can test your template and tweak it and create multiple eDocuments to see if your eDocuments are showing the way you want them to show. And the thing about test eDocuments, they can only be opened and viewed, but they cannot be filled and signed. So eventually you will want to disable the test mode and to start creating production eDocuments based on this template. And here in this demo, I want to show you the signing process, so I'll leave the test mode disabled. Next, I'll click on Create Templates. And FillQuick sends me to the template designer page. So I need to start by uploading a document. And this document can be a Word document or a PDF or even an open document text file or an image file. And this will basically be the background. This document will be the background, and you'll be placing fields on top of this background. Some of these fields will be automatically filled by FillQuick, and other fields will be manually filled by the company rep or the customer. So let's upload the document. I'll upload this credit check authorization document, and it is displayed on the template designer for me. And this blank right here, we will need to fill it with the customer's full name. And this can be automatically filled by FillQuick. So I'll make sure that FillQuick is selected from the drop down here, and then I will search for the full name field, and then I will drag it and drop it here and resize it. And I can even use the arrows on my keyboard to place the field exactly where I want it to be. And we need to display the applicant's name one more time here at the bottom. You will see that after we place the full name field once on this template, you will not see it anymore in the list under the search box. Instead, it will appear in the list above the search box. So if I need to use the full name again, I'll drag it from the list above the search box and I'll place it here on the templates. Next, I need to place a signature field. The signature will be filled by the customer themselves, not by FillQuick. So I need to switch to the primary signer participant to be able to place a field and assign it to the primary signer, and I will drag a signature field and I will drop it right here. We also need the signing date. So I will drag, still I have the primary signer selected, and I'll drag a date field. So the date field is assigned to the primary signer. And let's give these fields better names, because these names will be visible to the customer during the signing process. So let's call this customer signature, and let's call this signing date. And for the signing date, I don't want the customer to have to fill it manually with today's date. I want it to be filled automatically. So what I can do, I can right-click it and then enable this set signing date. And this way it's still assigned to the applicant, but it's going to be filled automatically to today's date. And that's it. We're done creating the template. And now let's try creating any document based on this template. So I'll go to leads and then lists. I'll open any of my leads and I'll go to eDocuments. Let's choose this template, credit check authorization, and then create eDocument. This will create any document based on this template. And now you see how we have only one participant here, the primary signer. And we have two buttons. We can either, if the company rep is currently with the customer and they would like to open the eDocument for the customer to review it and sign it from their device, they'll click this button right here, open eDocument. But if the company rep is not currently with the customer, what they can do, they can click on this button right here, email eDocument, to send an email to the customer with a link to review and sign this eDocument. So I'll use the first button in this demo. Let's say I'm the rep and I'm currently with the customer. I want to open it on my device, and I'm going to pass my device to the customer for the customer to review and sign from my device. You will see the fields that are supposed to be filled by FillQuick. They are filled by FillQuick as expected. That's the customer's name. We don't need to write it. And then the only thing that the customer needs to do, they need to sign. So they click on sign now and they'll sign right here. Then click on sign and complete. And we're back to this eDocument details page, and the status will take some time to update and eventually it will show completed. So that's it. We created an authorization, a credit check authorization form, and we got the customer signature on it. And you can always click this view PDF button to view the signed document as a PDF. And also, if you look under your file attachments, you will see that you have this PDF as a file attachment, and you can open it at any time. And also this same PDF, it was emailed to the customer. So after the customer signs, they receive an email saying thank you for completing this eDocument, and here is the signed eDocument PDF for your records. So I showed you an example of a lead eDocument. It's a simple one, just the customer name and their signature. Let's create a more complex one. Let's create a template for the alarm monitoring contract. So again, I'll go to eDocument templates, and you will see that's the template that we created. Let's create a new one, and this one I'll call it alarm subscription contract. And it can be used on not on leads, because the leads will not have enough information to fill the contract. It can be used on customers, and it cannot be used on services. Now the participant roles, let's say I want my company rep to sign the contract, and I want the primary signer to sign it, and I want the secondary signer to sign it. The language, we will keep it at English, and we will not select the test mode because I want to show you the signing experience. Test documents cannot be signed. I'll create the template, and again I'm asked to upload the document, so I'll upload this document right here called alarm subscription contract. And now we need to place the fields that are going to be filled by FillQuick. I want to put the eDocument creation date right here. So I'll drag it and drop it here and resize it and use the arrow keys to place it exactly where it's supposed to be. And then I want the customer's full name, so I'll search in the search box for full name and I'll drag it and drop it here. And during this demo I'll not care to place them exactly where they're supposed to be because just because I want to go faster. The setup charges, this one is a list as opposed to a simple field. So let's search for setup charge, and you will see we have setup charge 1 description, setup charge 1 quantity, setup charge 1 unit price, setup charge 1 amount, and then setup charge 2 description, quantity and unit price, and so on. So the setup charge 1 items will go on the first line, and the setup charge 2 items will go on the second lines, and the setup charge 3 will go on the third line, and so on. So let's start by placing the description here. So this is the setup charge 1 description. I want the setup charge 2 description. I'll drag it and drop it here. And then the setup charge 3 description. I'll drag it and drop it here. And so on. Next, we want the quantities for each of these setup charges. So I'll search for setup charge 1 quantity, and I'll drag it and drop it here. It needs to be resized and placed here. And then setup charge 2 quantity, drag it and drop it here, and so on for the other items. Next, the unit price. So I'll search for setup charge 1 unit price, and I will drag it and drop it here. And then the setup charge 2 unit price, and so on for the other lines. Next, the total price. So I will search for setup charge 1 the amount. The amount is the total price, and I'll drag it and drop it here. Setup charge 2 amount, and so on. Now we need the total of the setup charges to display it at the bottom of this table. So I will search for total of setup charges, and I will drag it and drop it here. Next, we have the monthly charges, and just like the setup charges, the monthly charges are a list, because you have the base service package, and you may have one or more add-ons, and you may have a guard charge. So it's another list. So I'll search for monthly charge, and you can see that's the list of monthly charges. Monthly charge 1 description, monthly charge 1 amount, monthly charge 2 description, monthly charge 2 amount. So I'll need to drag these and drop them on the table here. And we need the total of the monthly charges. So in the search box, I'll search for total of monthly charges and drag it and drop it here. Okay, next we move to the financial obligations. The total of setup charges, it needs to be displayed one more time here. And because we already added the total of setup charges, if I try searching for total of setup charges, I will not find the field here in the list below the search box. Instead, after adding it for the first time, it moves to the list above the search box. So I need to find it here in this list of fields that we already added. Or another thing I can do, I can copy it from here and paste it here. And then we need the install date. We need to display the install date in the blank here. So I'll search for the install date. And I will place it here. And then we need the contract term. And we need the monthly charge. That's the total of monthly charges. Again, we already added it, so it will appear in the list above the search box, not in the list below the search box. So an easier way is just to copy it and paste it here. And then the total of monthly charges for the initial term. We have a field for that. It's called total of monthly charges multiplied by contract term. This will give the customers total obligations for the monthly payment over the initial term. And then let's say we have a very special field that does not exist in this very long list of fields that can be automatically filled by FillQuick. Maybe this field is even something that's not even entered on the customer form. So what you can do in this case, you can assign this field to the company rep, and the company rep fills it manually before the customer reviews and signs the contract. So what I'll do in the drop down here, instead of FillQuick, I will select company rep, and then I will place a text field here. So this is a manual field that's assigned to the company rep, that the company rep will have to fill to complete this document. And let's call this field special field. Remember to give your fields names, because this name is visible during the signing process, so it's nice to have descriptive names. And while we have the company rep selected, let's add more fields here for the company rep to fill their name and sign. So I'll add another text field for the company rep name, and I'll name it company rep name. And then let's add a signature field for the company rep. Call it company rep signature. And then the signing date for the company rep. Let's call it company rep signing date. And this signing date, I don't want the rep to have to fill it manually. Instead, I want to automatically capture the date that the rep signed this document. So I'll right click it and enable set signing date. Okay, now for the primary signer. The primary signer doesn't have to, primary signer and secondary signer, they don't have to fill their names manually. FillQuick can fill it automatically for them. So I'll drag the full name here. This is the primary signer full name. And for the secondary signer, first I need to find the search box, and I'll search for secondary full name. Okay. And now we need signature fields for the primary signer and the secondary signer, and we need the signing date for both of them. So I will select primary signer from the drop down, and I need the signature field. Oops. Let me delete this. You can hit the delete button on your keyboard to delete a field, and call it primary signer signature. And then we need the signing date for the primary signer. So I will place a date field here, call it primary signer signing date. and right click and set signing date. Okay, next we need the secondary signer. We need their signature. Secondary signer signature, and we need their signing date. Secondary signer signing date. Okay, and in case the customer account on FillQuick has only a primary signer and does not have a secondary signer, these fields for the secondary signer, they'll be simply blank, and they will not be fillable by any of the other participants. So they will be completely ignored and they'll stay blank. Okay, now we created this contract template. Let's try creating a sample eDocument based on this template, so you can see how the signing experience looks like. I'll go to my account list and I will open any customer, and I will go to the eDocuments tab, and then I'll click on Alarm Subscription Contract. And then we see we have two participants here. We have the company rep and we have the primary signer. If this customer account had a secondary signer, you'll see a third participant for the secondary signer. But this account doesn't have it, so we only have two participants here. So let me open the eDocument as the company rep. You will see all the data that's supposed to be filled by FillQuick, it's filled already. And the rep will only need to fill this special field that's assigned to him. So he'll say example value, and next, and the rep will also need to fill their name, and the rep also needs to sign, and then they'll click sign and complete. This will take us back to the eDocument details page, and eventually the status will show completed for the company rep. Next, we need the customer to sign. So what the company rep will do, if they are currently with the customer, they'll click on Open eDocument, and this will load the eDocument on their phone or tablet, and they will pass their phone or tablet to the customer. The customer will review this template, and they will like everything, and eventually they'll click on Sign, and they will sign and complete. Okay, it will take some time to update the primary signer status, and eventually it will show completed. Again, we can see the signed eDocument PDF here, and you see the rep signature and the customer signature and all the data that was filled by FillQuick. It was also saved under the file attachments. You can see the contract PDF here, and it was also emailed to the customer, this PDF. The customer received the notification that they completed the signing, and they have the signed eDocument PDF attached for their records. Okay, so I showed you how to create lead eDocuments and how to create customer eDocuments. Let's create one for the service. Let's create an eDocument template for the service. So again, I'll go to eDocument templates. I'll click on new template, and this one I'll call it service invoice. It cannot be used on leads, it cannot be used on customers, it can only be used on services. The participants, the company rep will need to fill and sign. The primary signer will need to sign this document too. The secondary signer does not need to be participant at all. We don't need the secondary signer's signature on this particular document. The language, I leave it at English. Test mode, I will not enable test mode because I want to show you the signing process. Create template. Again, we start by uploading. I'll upload the service invoice document. And we will start by placing the fields that are going to be filled by FillQuick. Customer name, again, I'll use the full name field. And then I will drag and drop the address fields. We need the CS account number here, so I'll search for central station account number, and I will place it here. We need the service date, so I'll search for service date. I'll place it here. And then we need the work requested. This will come from the service issue. And then we need the field for the work done. FillQuick does not have such a field. So probably this will be filled by the technician after he completes the service. So what I'll do, I will switch to the company rep, and then I will draw a text field here. It's gonna be called work done. And then the service charges. This list will be filled by FillQuick, so I'll switch the drop down back to FillQuick, and we need to search for service charge. And again, we have service charge 1 description, service charge 1 quantity, service charge 1 unit price, service charge 1 amount, and then service charge 2 description, quantity, unit price, amount. You saw how we build lists before. The one fields will go on the first line, the 2 fields will go on the second line, and the fields with the number 3 will go on the third line, and so on. So I'll place these. And then I need the total of the service charges at the bottom of the table. So I'll search for total of service charges and drag and drop the field. Next, the payment information. We need the customer's credit card information to show it on this document. So I'll search for credit card to see all the credit card related fields. And here is the card type. And then we need the masked credit card number. FillQuick never displays the credit card or bank account numbers on the eDocuments because such sensitive information should never appear on the eDocument. So instead, FillQuick will mask the payment account number and will display only the last 4 digits. And then we need the credit card expiration date. And then we need the banking information in case the customer is using a bank account to pay. So I'll search for bank account. And then we will drag the bank account bank name. And then the bank account type. And then the bank routing number. And then the masked bank account number. Okay, and then the full service charge will need to appear here, and this is a field that we added before, so we can copy and paste here. And then we need the signature fields for the company rep and the customer. So I will switch to the company rep participant. I'll add a text field for the company rep to write their name, call it company rep name, and I will add a signature field for the company rep signature, and then the signing date for the company rep. Call it company rep signing date. Right click and set signing date. And then for the customer, FillQuick can fill their name automatically. So I'll assign this field to FillQuick and I'll drag the full name field, and then I'll switch to the primary signer. I'll add the signature field for the primary signer, call it primary signer signature, and the signing date for the primary signer. Primary signer signing date, and right click it, set signing date. And that's it. We finished creating this template for the service invoices, and now let's test it on one of our services. I'll actually go to one of the customers and I will create a new service. I'll set the date and time, and the service issue will say it's add camera and smoke detector, and the equipment is gonna be a camera, quantity 1, and smoke, quantity 1. The equipment total charge will be taxable, and the labor charge, let's say $45, taxable, and create the service. Now let's go to the service details and go to eDocuments on the service, select our new template, service invoice, and create the eDocument based on this template. First, the company rep will open the document. They will need to fill the work done. They'll say, and they can also make this field multi-line if they want to. They can say, installed the new camera and smoke detector and changed all batteries. Next, the company rep will fill their name, call it example tech. The company rep will sign, and then sign and complete. Okay, so now it was completed by the company rep participant. We will click open eDocument to open it for the customer. The rep will pass his device to the customer. The customer will review all this information. They will like everything and they will decide to sign. Okay, now the eDocument was completed by all participants. Again, we have the PDF, it's saved under the file attachments, it was emailed to the customer and everything. This is the end of this video. I hope it was informative. If you have any questions or if you face any problems while creating your templates, please reach out to our support. We will be happy to help. Goodbye.